Hey everyone, Corey from Aquarium Co-op. We're back from the trip. 10 days of some intense driving, a little over 5,000 miles. Stopped, I don't know how many stops we had, but a lot. A lot of gas getting, a lot of eating at fast food. I'm happy to be home. Did a lot of sleeping, plan to do a lot more sleeping. And just keep putting out fires from the business. A lot of things, well, not a lot of things, but there was stuff that ran out of stock.
Oh.
You know, so we got that taken care of. Mostly it's all being ordered. So if we ran out of something, realize I missed it while on the road because we were ordering. And, you know, I thought I got it all, but there was a few things, like a few plants. And in my mind, I hadn't realized the medicine video was coming out, you know, on a Thursday. And then we'd sell out of meds. So that was my bad. Had I been around, I would have been thinking, oh yeah, that video is going to come out, and I should order way more medicine. So lots and lots of meds are coming in kind of on Wednesday or so. So
Good to be back. Oh man, good to shower in the shower, and
it is
good to
nice
shower
have
in
a
the shower.
Yeah.
Good to take a nap in the old bed again. So good to sit here actually. So.
Before I forget, say happy birthday to Nisi. It was her birthday yesterday. I thought maybe we'd go live yesterday, but we were just too tired. So that's super mod extraordinaire. What else? Before I forget, we've got Easy Green. All the fertilizers are on sale this weekend, 20% off, and it's not a code, so you just buy them and they'll just straight up be 20% off. If you have a code to use, you could use that on top of it. Just saying. And ooh, yeah, this came out. Well, these probably came out last weekend, and if you guys are following Facebook and stuff like that, you already know, but the Aquarium Co-op hats are for sale, $25, and, you know, I think I only had 50 of them made, so I'm sure we'll have more made if they're a hit. If they're not a hit, this is a one-time thing. They are flex fit. A lot of people have been asking that kind of stuff, so they're full-backed. These are the large to extra large, which fits most people on the planet. There are some people that need a smaller hat. We only have this one because it made sense, and that's how we can keep the cost down and affordable. So if you're into that hat, go ahead and grab one. That way we can spot you at the Chicago Aquatic Experience coming up. And then also we'll be in Michigan, not this weekend, but next weekend. So
That reminds me, I need to get like some kind of silver pen or something so you can sign those.
That'd be smart. If I was that smart, I would do that. So, is Easy Green shrimp safe? Totally is. Watch the video, and you know, it totally is.
It is. Everyone's talking about your beard. Let's adjust the beard.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah, that thing.
Oh,
Did you not notice?
I wasn't reading chat. I didn't realize it was a big to do. Mostly I just didn't shave for 11 days now. I haven't shaved, and I don't know. I'm thinking about growing it in. I haven't shaped it or anything like that yet, so I still got like this stubble down here that's unbearable. I want to kill myself over it, pretty much. But I'm gonna keep letting it grow, and then I'll take the beard in a direction when it warrants it. So I think at least another 2 weeks before I really start doing anything with it. Let it kind of grow in more, and you know, hopefully, I'm not promising anything because beards and me, I don't enjoy them most times. So it would have to look pretty good and not drive me insane, and maybe I'll wear it all the way till like
Christmas.
Whoa. Maybe Christmas apparently, but Chicago. I think it'd be funny if I could change my appearance enough that people couldn't recognize me in Chicago. Like grow a beard, dress completely differently. Like don't wear a checkered shirt at all. Like what could I wear? Like no, if I was like, I'll wear a suit, but that would be too close. I'd have to wear like a track suit or something.
Tracksuit. Oh yeah, that would be pretty neat. Yeah,
with a big gold chain. That's me.
Yeah,
with a big beard.
So Kenny asked, so after that trip, will you make another one, or is the van parked in Plains from now on?
No, I liked it. I think no matter what, on the way home, it sucks. Like that last. Like, once we did our last stop, which was at Greg Sage's house, the last 12 or 1,300 miles is a grind because we just drove straight through pretty much. And it's because why stop when you know you're that much closer to getting home and sleeping in your own bed and doing that kind of thing. So, yeah, I definitely think there'll be other trips. Definitely going to get like HD radio or Sirius satellite or something like that. I didn't know this before we traveled, but the radio is unbearable between here and everywhere else. So there's a lot of, and I'm not saying if you like this, that's fine, but if you don't like this, you understand. Throughout the Midwest, it seems that there is a choice of country music, religious channels, and static. That's your options.
Yep.
That's not true. There's classic rock. We listen to a lot of classic rock, more than I needed to. But even then, you'd get it for like 2 songs, and then it'd get all staticky, and you couldn't listen to it anymore. So it's just maddening, like on every level. So that would help a ton, because we had cell phones and stuff, but you'd lose reception on those. So it was a lot of open road, and me and Jimmy talking, which is not good for anyone.
So Toro Girl says, do you sing or put music in the car? Okay, let me explain this moment.
Oh, no.
It was about, it was the last day of the drive, so we're 10 days into the trip, and it was complete silence. Usually we have the radio off. I usually have my earbuds on, and Corey has his earbuds on. We listen to different types of music, but it was complete silent. We were rolling through some fog, so the setting was like Silent Hill, really dramatic type. And Corey turns on the radio, so I'm flipping through channels. He's flipping through channels, right? And Taylor Swift Shake It Off comes on, and there's this complete dead silence in the car, and it was like really eerie. And we both look at each other, and we both look away, and then I start singing, and then he starts jamming along. I was like, okay, it's come out. And so that was a very fun moment that we forgot to record, but I didn't want to explain to that. So that was awesome. How many total miles did you guys drive?
We didn't restart. I wasn't smart enough to start the trip meter over again right before we left. But on this oil change, which we got the oil change like less than a week before we left, we didn't really drive it much. It was over 6,000 miles. But I think the trip itself was like 5,500, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
But it was a lot more than I thought, and it went by really fast in between stops. As long as it was like drive from here to here and go do something awesome, that wasn't bad. I feel like we could do 8-10 hours every day easy. It felt really easy. But after that, basically driving between the hours of like 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. is long. It's just not fun because it's really dark, and a lot of deer you could hit, and it's for me. It's the 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you hit the twisty turns in the mountains, and then
it's like wake up.
Yeah, and the lines aren't marked that well either.
Yeah,
and I also realized everyone has terrible roads except for us. That's what I realized too. That's not true, but definitely
that's not true.
I knew exactly when we were in Chicago and stuff like that. And Indiana. I was like, this is exactly what I went through last time I drove through here. There was the same amount of construction. It's been a year. How is that possible? But
which, by the way, people in the mid-United States and Midwest really jealous of QT. Quick Trip. You guys have the best gas stations in the world. Well, I don't know about in the world, but it was pretty awesome.
It was refreshing to see adults who didn't hate their life working at a gas station. And there would be like 5 or 6 people working and all chipper. And it seemed like a great place to work. Whether it is or not, I have no idea. But it wasn't the soul-crushing gas station experience where you walk in and someone's on the 2 o'clock to 11 a.m. shift and you can just see there's no soul left in them. And they're just like, you hand them, you put your stuff up on the counter, they click a button a couple of times and scan it, and just keep looking into your soul. And then they yell at you like, no, take the chip out.
Slide.
And then you leave. That's how a lot of them were. But these guys and girls were...
It was 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, it was super early, and they were just chipper, and, they had breakfasts ready that we could buy. And
3
we got
guys
some
at the counter, like... Are you serious? This is so efficient. It's crazy.
Yeah, I definitely said, I was like, why haven't these made it to the West Coast yet? Because this is an awesome experience. Like, and you would, the weird part is you come out going like, why am I spending so much time talking about a gas station? But it was that unique, obviously. Mm-hmm. I was like, dang, we need to hit more
Yeah.
QTs. And unfortunately, we only were able to hit like one more on the entire trip
Yeah.
because it was all different types of gas
Flying
stations.
J's will do. So is Pilot gas stations, but QTs are the best. Did you eat your
QT,
sandwiches or
top
throw them
tier.
away? We ate them.
Ate them, yeah.
We ate them.
So we got a question from Michael Faulkner. Just got off, so not sure what's up, but need some stocking advice for a 37-gallon boat front. Taller tanks, so all levels. Keep up the good work. 37-gallon. It's a lot easier if you ask this question. You have at least one fish in mind, because literally there's the entire world of fish to do.
Yeah, you can fit a lot in 37. So
Like if you were gonna do a Tanganyika tank, I would do like either multis on the bottom or Parasiprochromis, and then I would do like Cyprichromis in the middle, and then Lamperthichthys, killifish on the top. Perichthes, it's Perichthes, not Lamproperichthes up on top. But if it's a general community tank, pick a flavor of Corys. Pick a schooling fish or two that you're in love with, maybe a Rasbora, a Tetra, something like that. And then up top, pick a either like a hatchet fish, or like some Danios. Like I like leopard Danios a lot. Yeah, but I do want to. This is a question that got asked way early in the chat. Everyone was hanging out, and Martin, let's see, Castillo. There we go. My words were merged into each other from the copy and paste. Martin Castillo asked, if you had $250 to get into the aquarium hobby, what would you do? And so I was asking a little bit more, and this guy lives in California, so he's in the United States, and he won $200 from like a job pool thing. I don't know what the bet was on or whatever. So he basically is going to take that $200 and an additional $50 and start the hobby. So I think that I have a different perspective. So I'm going to ask Jimmy, with only $250, what aquarium would you build?
and he's just barely getting into the hobby.
Yeah, he's never been into it. So I don't know how he found
man.
us, but I asked, and he owns nothing, literally no dechlorinator, nothing.
Okay.
How would you spend $250?
And getting tips from fish nerds. All right. I would wait for a $1 sale or shop a really nice Craigslist tank. Probably a 55. Start with a 55 or a 20 gallon, but 55 would be my preference.
Okay.
Do guppies because they're easy, and they'll spawn like crazy.
55 though.
A ton of guppies. I'm talking like because he has a lot of money, right? In it, I'm guessing like 250.
$250 is all he's got. That's for everything: lights, filter, tank, gravel, plants, chemicals, test kit. Like it's
Okay,
yeah.
55. I would buy a cheap light from eBay because I was used to those.
So give him the advice though, because if you're new to the hobby, he's gonna go on there. There's a billion different lights. Do you have from this weekend? I would buy an Aquaneat light. I don't know how much they are, but LR Bretts is using them.
Yeah, you probably buy for $30 on eBay to fill the whole 55, and I would throw in possibly 2 sponge filters. You could do 1, but I would be safe with 2.
Mm-hmm.
You buy dechlorinator for sure. Buy your test kit. Are these necessary for me to say?
It's what you would buy.
Yeah. So those by substrate. I don't know where I would start with substrate actually. Something from PetSmart, something simple. And get some plants from you. I think Easy Green is on sale right now, so that would help. And Easy Green makes everything a lot easier. Just doing the 1 pump per gallon.
Even growing beards.
Yeah, that too.
Just saying.
And I don't know what I'd stock as a beginner. That's a hard one, because I already know what I would stock as a intermediate fish keeper.
Well, I would do the opposite of what you're doing. So I would, if I didn't have anything, this is one of the times when I think Craigslist can be crazy good, because normally when you're buying a tank off Craigslist, they're like, no, you got to take all this crap.
Yeah.
And so you get like a box of chemicals, you get like a half-used test kit. Usually you can get substrate. They're like, yeah, you got to take this and those 10 buckets. So that's why it's so cheap. So I would probably buy something on Craigslist. I would shoot for like a 29-gallon maybe. Obviously, we can get bigger for like the same price, sure. And I would try to spend like $100. Spend $100 or less and take someone's, garage disaster. Well, my daughter moved out. No one's ever touched it. We killed all the fish and then we put it in the garage. We never touched it again. Whatever that scenario is, I'd buy that for like $100. So then you can fill in the parts that are broken or missing or whatever with that extra 150, and you can save a lot of money if you can get that tank. It'll probably come with a light and some type of filter.
It always comes with a hang-on back filter for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. So you're gonna get a hang-on back. You get probably a T8 bulb light, which is fine to start with, and a tank. And then a heater probably, but you never know if that heater works. Usually there's always a crusty air pump somewhere where you're like, oh yeah, this thing, okay. Yeah, but it's missing all the tubing and you got half a broken air stone. But with that $100, that's a great base to start from. And don't throw anything out. Just go, okay, I don't know what this thing does. Store it off to the side. And for substrate, if it didn't come with it, which it will, like it'll have clown puke gravel or whatever, I'm sure, pink and purple and orange all mixed together. And then throw in some sand in there, like just make it the worst you can and you'll get that. But if you didn't have that, I would probably buy some sand from like Home Depot. Like if this is like, and here's the thing. Now, if this $250, you're like, oh, well, I'm a grown adult and I have more of a budget and I can do it better. Definitely do it better. But this applies to, I've got $250. I've saved it up. It's my whole Christmas thing. And I'm 14. And it's the only money I'm ever going to get to build this aquarium. This is going to save that money as much as you can. So get like a $5 bag of sand. Put way too much rinsing into it. So buy a $5 bag of sand and then put $150 worth of water through it because you're going to have to use so much water to clean it. But, you can, sometimes your apartment doesn't charge for water or your parents or, whatever. And then scavenge some plants from like maybe Facebook or Craigslist or a local club. You can save a little bit of money there. If you got no options, buy strategically some plants like from my website or my website. Yeah, I was gonna say like eBay. The problem is if you're new to plants, you have no idea what you're buying, and you could buy plants you're gonna have no chance to grow. And then half the time, plants off eBay and that kind of stuff, they come in so poor condition that you're not gonna have success. And so that's why I'm recommending mine, because I'm like, well, I know I'm going to send good plants. Like, I can hedge those bets for you. But my plants are more expensive. I don't deny that by any means. I go for quality over, cheapness. So I would get a plant or two. And if you go with like a Nubius or like a Pontigeton Crispus or something like that, you wouldn't have to get fertilizer. Now, it makes it easier and it better, but you wouldn't have to. Long term, the fish load could probably support those. But if you want to get a little more fancy, Easy Green does help. And then, the other lighting scenario I wanted to bring up, let's say it didn't come with a light or you just want to upgrade. The $25 LED shop lights at like Home Depot, Costco, they're actually really bright and good. Almost too bright, honestly, if you don't know what you're doing, you're new to the hobby. But it's hard to pass up that $25 for that light, but it's only like a 4-foot section. So if you were getting that 55 like Jimmy recommended, I would do that. And I would save as much of the money as I could. So let's say you built that whole thing out and you got $50 left. Use that for fish and other odds and ends, but your $250 will go so much further if your home base starts with a Craigslist buy that doesn't go horribly awry. And so you want to test that tank, make sure it's holding water, make sure it looks pretty new. Hopefully you show up and the people live like in a fancy neighborhood and you can tell it was their 13-year-old daughter that had it for about 6 minutes before she got bored. Like, those are the scenarios you hope to walk into going, oh yeah, look at this. This thing's like brand new. They spent a ton of money on it. So yeah, that's how I would start it. And otherwise you're going to end up spending $250 and you'll have a 10-gallon. And you get all the bells and whistles from a local store, and it'll be great. But that's the easy one. You walk into a store and go, I'd like an aquarium. They start pulling things off the shelf. $250 later, you take it home, you set it up, boom, you got it. But it'll be a much smaller tank than the ways Jimmy and I mentioned. So we got super chats.
Yeah,
rolling
Jimmy
through.
Brown, $5 super chat. What do you guys think is a good first food for threadfin rainbow fry? They're so tiny, I worry that they won't be able to eat most foods.
Yeah, so you're going to want a very fine powder food. The one that Gary Lang used all the time was APR, which is an artificial protein rotifer. They don't make it anymore. So now the conventional wisdom is something like First Bites or Golden Pearls, which Ken's Fish sells. So I got some rainbows off Gary, and they're going to be able to take baby brine shrimp right away, but the threadfins probably couldn't. I would probably be using powdered versions of Repashy food. That's one of the uses of Repashy that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people do know, but that it's really fine powder and it sits up on the top, and rainbows have to eat from the top, and it's kind of a pain to raise them. So, but
Could
that's
you do
what I would do.
microworms?
You could. The problem with the microworms is they go to the bottom, and
Okay.
rainbow fish only
Yeah.
want to eat from the top. You could also use green water or infusoria. Yeah, I would use one of those fine powdered foods at least for the first few weeks, at least. So.
All right, we got Guy Greatorex with a $2 size of tank for a school of pea puffers, please.
For a school of them,
Yeah.
I would say like a 20 long. You could do a 20 high, but a 20 long, you could probably do 6 or 7 in there, getting the right mix and make sure they're not too territorial with the right food. But I think a 20 long would be a good one. I do want to do like a 33 long. That's that 55 that's shorter. I think that'd be super cool, but I've never done it. So
We got Joe Leonard with a $5 super chat. Asked a question about multis a few weeks ago. You said there's an old video on your channel about Shelly's, but was never able to find it. Any advice?
So I think it's going to be in a daily dose. It was back at the old house I used to live at. And so I can remember the video. I installed the background. I got it by Designs by Nature, and it was actually for Similis, which is very close to Multis. I actually still have the background in the garage. Yeah, you talk. I'm going to go see if I can grab that real quick. And
Okay.
there's another thing I want to grab.
All right. The counter behind me is the subscriptions for Corey's channel, Aquarium Co-op. And let's see. Joel really wants to see the Gary Lang video. That will be a while. It's going to take a long time. It's probably going to be anywhere near the 3 weeks mark. So after we get back from Michigan, because in 2 weeks we leave again. Speaking of Gary Lang, you guys know that I love photography and stuff like that, but I got to speak with Gary Lang through the whole weekend, and we got to spend the night at his house. I had a beer with him and everything, and he was selling these posters. He's also selling Corey Doors posters, but I bought this poster because he's a photographer, and I ran to Barnes & Noble and grabbed a pen so he can sign it. So he took this himself. It's the solar eclipse. So I'm going to get it framed. He also signed it down here with the pen that I bought. Gary Lang. So, super neat. And I got to nerd out. And he's one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my entire life. So
Present company excluded, of course.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find the background. I think it's buried in the old Metaframe tank, but I'll try and find it. It's in that daily dose. Maybe not. Maybe even before that. I'm gonna look on the channel real quick. See if I can find it. Let's see here. Can I navigate away from this without ruining the internet? But also, I want to show you guys. We just got our first samples, and I'll be bringing. It's not for sale yet, but I'll be bringing it in, assuming it tests fine, which it should. But the Repashy Superfood Super Gold, developed by Dandy Arandas, is in production at least. So I have my hands on it. We got 2 of these. We're going to test one at the store and one here. And it's kind of a cool, to me, it reminds me, without reading the ingredients side by side, more like the red rum, because the first ingredient is krill, and then spirulina algae and black soldier fly larva. So it's got, I was going to say action-packed ingredients that I like. The only fear that I have is every other food I've ever fed that the first ingredient was krill, it stinks up my entire house. Like this is obviously going to stink it up during cooking, but things like massivore and stuff like that have always stunk my house up, or my fish room up, or my store up with a real fishy smell. So if I go and I feed a bunch of krill based foods in the store, people go, oh geez, this fish store smells like fish. Whereas I feed like freeze-dried krill, I don't have that problem at all. But for some reason, like when it's mixed into a food, I run into that problem. So I'm going to test it here, and I want to know that answer. Like I'm going to carry it either way because there's going to be people that are just going to buy it. That's just going to happen. People are going to go, oh hey, you know, I want to install, or I want to play with that. So we'll bring it in, but I want to know, like, is this going to smell horrible? And I can be like, yeah, it totally is. So meanwhile, I'm looking for that video.
I want to show off this cool shirt I got. Thank you, Corey.
That's right. I bought him a shirt.
Yeah, he bought me more than just a shirt, but traveling with the boss is super awesome.
Man. Oh, wait. Keep going. I'm zeroing in on
Jimmy,
this
did you get
video.
some Kansas City barbecue? No, but we got something called Sugar Fire Barbecue out in St. Louis,
good.
Missouri, and oh my gosh, I think Corey had the best bacon he ever had in his life.
That bacon was ridiculous good. That maple bacon.
Yeah.
The salmon, not so good. But, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. And the barbecue ribs I had was fantastic. They have a good selection of barbecue sauces, like maybe 7 of them on the table. And we're talking about food again, but they have soda that's made locally, or more crafted soda out of the tap, so that's awesome.
I cannot find this video for this guy.
I think Joel might have linked it to him. I am not sure. How is the fish room update and new studio coming along? This is from a new viewer, by the way. It's pretty much, the studio's kind of done with this studio. As far as the other one that he used to be in, we have plans for that, I think. And the fish room update, the newest fish room update, is released on the main channel. You can go check that out there.
Yeah, we want to do a lot of building. In fact, the people that are helping me build and stuff like that, I just got in contact with them last night. Everything got put on hold while we were out of town, obviously. And I came back, like, after visiting all these fish rooms, desperately wanting to do more in my fish room. But basically what happens is we're out of town for 2 weeks. I got to spend the next probably 4 or 5 days catching up on what I missed while I was gone. And Jimmy's going to edit like a madman. And then we've got probably 3 or 4 days. We could probably do some building. And then we fly back out to Michigan. And so then when we get back, we spend 4 or 5 days catching back up. And then we'll have 3 or 4 days to build. And then we're going to prep and go to Chicago. So there's that. And then we can get back, and we're going to spend 3 or 4 days catching back up. And so that's the cycle pretty much for the rest of the year, unfortunately. And then I've got a personal vacation we're going on in end of November. And then the worst month of my life comes around, and that's December. Jimmy doesn't even know it yet, but you know, if you think working at any point so far has been hard, wait for December. December is going to be horrible.
No, I know what's coming.
There's all inventory, so we got to count everything, count every fish. There's so much work to do. So the goal is we make some progress. I want to get some of these 125s and some other tanks set up, and then I really want to set up a lot of breeding tanks. And I've got a whole well, I can probably open this up while we talk, but I got a whole box of parts right here to be building on the new racks and everything that I want to do. I'm opening this with a tack, by the way.
Oh, you have an unboxing on this.
That's a live unboxing. Yeah. Oh, what does $300 buy you? Not very much from Bulk Reef Supply. A bunch of air. Let me show you guys what all these are, though.
What's in Michigan for you guys? Corey is speaking on pufferfish at the Michigan Aquarium Society, I believe. So
these are all slip fit connections for this tubing. This is kind of a rigid tubing that is used for like RO units or refrigerators, and you just snap it right in there. And this is going to be our new water change system, and I'm trying to design a live food feeding system so I can feed brine shrimp or some other things as well. There's all kinds of valves and elbows, and there's just a million different parts. I believe these are the check valves so that water can only go one way, and it's a new system I just want to play with. Yeah, long list of parts there. But that's what we want to do. I think I want to build a rack of 29-gallon tanks. I'm thinking maybe 20 longs, and I want to set them up with some almost like a false wall with a matin filter, possibly with a like a little sump or refugium in the back. So yeah, got a lot of. I've been buying parts, and that's the thing. When I'm buying parts, that means stuff's gonna happen. Because I won't go back. I won't be like, oh, I'll just let that $300 box of parts kick around. It's enough to do like an entire wall or wall and a half full of tanks. I bought a lot of, I mean, you can see, like, each one of these tees in here will do a tank. And there's a lot of tees, so we can do quite a bit. Awesome. And that's the goal, to play around with that system. So, and it should go easy and should be way more modular and take up less space and look better. So there's a lot of perks to it.
What's the best Repashy for angelfish?
I would just buy the community blend because it's most versatile. Mostly, if you don't know what you want, just buy community. And then if you're trying to specifically do something, look at the ingredients and then buy that. So like, for instance, this is goldfish food, right? My brain tells me this is going to be popular because goldfish are going to look better. And because most often goldfish are red colored or orange colored, this krill naturally enhances that color. So people are going to feed it and go, hey, my goldfish look better, blah, blah, blah. It's going to sell well. But I'm looking at it going, ooh, what about things like red rainbows? What about things like crebensis and anything else that has red in it? I think it's really going to color up. And so I think this is going to be a hit for a lot of things. And then because the first ingredient is krill, it should be very attractive to stingrays and discus, and it's going to be very pungent smelling in the water. So a lot of things I think are going to eat this. Now that being said, with krill being the first ingredient, this one might be the most expensive Repashy ever made so far. I have no idea. I haven't seen any prices on it. I only have this sample to play with, and it says, it even says, right here, sample not for resale, and they write free on it. They don't want me to, like, oh, look at this. You can be the first one. It's only $1,000. They actually want me to test it and give feedback and make sure it's good before, mass production, if you will. So
your wife asks, how's the plecos do on the drive back? How did everything do?
Way to blow the surprise. No. So far as of this morning, no casualties. My biggest fear was that we'd get everything back and then we'd wake up today and we'd have casualties. But, knock on wood, everything's done well.
Good.
Jimmy and I both brought back different species of Corydoras from as Ian Fuller said, the largest Corydora source in the world that he's seen. He had over 120 different species of Corydora.
Insane.
It's crazy. We've got that video, the lighting and everything. It'll be a video, but it's not going to be like, oh man, that's the coolest video you guys have ever done. The content's super cool, but the way tanks and lighting and sound and all that is set up, we've done the best we can with the situation. So that was super cool. We got Gary. I got some rainbows from Gary Lang, some Pseudomogil reticulatus I've never seen before, so I'm excited about those. I had lined up to get from Eric Bodrock, which we recorded 2 of his presentations that you guys will get to see. I got a pair of Nanochromis parulus, which is kind of like a crebensis almost looking thing, and which I saw those last time. So if you watched his tour on probably Flip Aquatics channel, Regina, his wife, was breeding them, and I told him, I'm going to get some of these. He's like, sure, and I finally did now. And then I got a group of his L494 plecos, which were kind of just a cool, odd Hypencistrus. I want to start breeding some more plecos. And so I got those, but then I won a bid for $400 on a group of 3 L397s, which are the candy stripe pleco. And to the best of my knowledge and the people at the Catfish Convention and the guy selling them, I'll be the third person to have them in the United States. They're very popular in Europe and Australia and stuff like that. They're all over the place, but they hadn't made their way over here much yet. And the ones that I bought were actually brought in for the convention from Scotland by the owner of, what is it, plecoplanet.com? Catfish Planet? Catfish Planet. So, yeah.
Got a lot of... Am I dumb for wanting to put a rack of about 10 3.5 gallon tanks for shrimp and microfish? No. Never.
I mean, it's not dumb. It's just... I feel like I would do 5 gallons. Like, you're not saving any money gallons. Is the problem. You're not saving any money at all.
Those 3.5s are expensive, man.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you can fit 10s, I can understand 5s because you're like, well, I can fit, you know, like on a 5-foot space, maybe you can fit 7 of them, whereas like 10s, you're only going to fit 5 of them. But, you know, 3.5s to 5s, I would just use 5s, honestly. So,
let's see.
While I'm thinking about it, the Patreon thing, I want to say thank you for everyone donating to our Patreon. And if you don't know what that is yet, we're inviting people that want to support the aquarium hobby on YouTube to pledge $1 to 3 channels that you enjoy watching. Slowly but surely, some more creators are signing up. I know of Flynn's Fish Forum, Michael Skurnick of Michael's Fish Room. I'm trying to think of who else. I know that Corvus Ocean's on there. I know that Scene Fought Aquatics is on there. Nisi's on there. Creative Pet Keeping's on there. Probably 50 others I don't know. So if I didn't name you there, it's not specific. That's just all I can remember off the top of my head. And the goal is that by donating $1 to your top 3 channels, that'll be 3 channels that now earn an income that maybe they weren't, and we'll be able to use it for good things instead of evil. And so yeah, we're up to about $48 or something like that, which is awesome.
Awesome.
And I think my first goal is to be able to look at the podcast as not just straight up losing us money, because it costs us to put out the podcast and host it and do all those things. And that will kind of, it's always been not on the chopping block, but it's rough when you can put things out on YouTube and you make a little bit of money, and then to put it out on a podcast, it actually costs us a couple $100s for the apps every year, plus the hosting fees and all that kind of stuff. And so when something's not losing you money, you put a little more attention to it, going, okay, let's build this up. So we did shoot a couple of like either podcast or video type subjects while I was driving. So it was kind of just a talking head video. Jimmy recorded it. I was mic'd up. We talked about opening a fish store. And do you remember what the other one was? We talked about opening a fish store.
And Old Tank Syndrome.
And Old Tank Syndrome, yeah. So we did both those topics on the way there. So, yeah.
Let's see. Corey, UK here. How can I get in contact with you or Jimmy? Messaged the page last night and was Allie. Usually fish questions that get messaged over there is Allie just...
I already know what he wants to talk about.
Oh.
He wants to talk about promotion of his club and stuff like that. As Allie told you, send an email. So I saw that message and it said, you know, send an email to store@aquariumcoop.com. That is where I manage it. And, you know, I pretty much let my employees guide everyone to the right place so that I'm not just stepping on toes. So I saw that and I go, hey, if that guy wants to get in hold of me, he will, you know, send an email. So, yeah.
What is the safest way to sterilize a new plant from a local fish store?
In my opinion, don't sterilize plants, which is the opposite of the rest of the internet. Most people end up killing their plants or severely hurting them to ward off what? That's the question. Well, I don't know. Stuff could be on there. Sure. But I myself, at this point in my hobby and career, have never had a problem with a plant ever. And I've touched hundreds of thousands of plants at this point. You know, if you're trying to ward off snails, in my opinion, you're hurting yourself. That's like saying, how do I get rid of all the worms in my garden before I plant this plant? It'd be like, well, if anything, you'd want to add worms. So, like, what are you trying to do here? So, in my opinion, if you're looking to ward off problems, quarantine your plants. So that means have a quarantine tank just like you would for fish. The only thing that goes in there is plants. You quarantine them there for a couple of months to make sure you've gotten rid of all the gestation periods of different parasites, diseases, algae, snail eggs, all those types of things, and then move it to your aquarium. Short of doing that, there is no dip that's going to do it. So like, let's say you go, well, I'm going to do it in bleach. bleach doesn't kill half the stuff that you're trying to get rid of, like snail eggs, for instance. Not going to get rid of it. So it will kill your plant, or at least, knock it back quite a bit. So then, it's funny to me when people are trying to get rid of snails on their plants, they bleach dip it, and then they still get snails anyway, and then they complain about how their snails are eating the plants. Well, snails don't eat, live, healthy plants. They eat dying plants. And so you took a plant that was probably healthy, then, beat it up a bunch with bleach, and now you're mad that the snail is eating it, when, had you done nothing, the snail would have just eaten the algae that would have grown on the plant, and it actually would have been helping you. So...
Okay, any tips on getting rid of blackbeard algae?
Watch the algae video we have. Hydrogen peroxide is a good way. You'll see in the Eric Bodrock talk where I suggest that to him, and he's been having a lot of success with that. Excel's another way. Making sure your water parameters and fertilizers are on point. Making sure your light bulbs aren't really old. Maybe getting some Siamese algae eaters or Florida flagfish to help you out. But it's a two-step process of making sure you're not growing more and then having something to help get rid of it. So whether that's a chemical or that is a fish or something like that. So,
could you touch on old tank syndrome just a little bit?
Yeah, I'll give you the brief overview. Which I think our talk was about 20-30 minutes. But the brief overview is, if you take a body of water and you put some fish in it, over time, things will happen. We know that we'll probably build some nitrates. We might have the pH go down. We might have less dissolved oxygen. We might have less calcium in the water. And all that's going to happen over time. And let's say 3 years down the road, your fish are still living in it, and they look to be fine. Then you take and you buy a new fish, you drop it into that tank, and it dies off the next day. That's the old tank syndrome. The fish that are in there are very used to the things the way they are, even though it's not good. And the new fish is not used to those not good scenario, and it dies from too much of a change. Now, we go into a lot more in-depth on what might be changing, how we counteract that, how we bring ourselves back from a problem with old tank syndrome, and talk about how it was in the 60s and 70s, where old tank syndrome was actually beneficial because we didn't understand it, and things like that. So, yeah.
Let's see. More fish questions? Sure. Can catappa leaves harm any plants or fish?
Technically, yes, but in practicality, no. Like if you had so many leaves and the pH dropped, let's say 4.0, you might lose some fish and some plants, but that would take so much that it's unlikely that would ever happen for you. So I would say, in general, pretty much just do good things. It's kind of like saying, could water ever hurt my fish? The answer is yes. Like, you could change water and you forget to put the chlorinator in there and all your fish die. But reality is, 999 times out of 1,000, we're probably doing a good thing with that. So,
okay, not many questions. So
we do have the $2 super chat from Joe for looking for that video. I'll see if I can find it. I mean, maybe I delete it, but I almost never delete a video, so I can't.
This thing's been stressing you out for the past like 13 minutes.
It's rare that I can't find a video. Maybe it's hidden somehow. I don't know. It seems weird to me. I can't imagine I'd be like, oh, let me delete this one because it was a perfectly fine video. So, yeah, I don't know.
All right.
What else we got going on? Is that a fidget spinner? Who's playing with a fidget spinner?
I was.
Oh. The next videos to come out probably are going to be probably some vlog videos, like our road trip vlog. I'm thinking about releasing one on the main channel and one here at the same time, and kind of be like part 1, part 2 type of deal. And then we'll probably release a talk, and that probably rounds out a lot of this week, I think. Let me think, because we only do 2 on the main channel and 2 here. We'll probably do that so that we can spend enough time editing all the other stuff. Because right now we have no videos ready, and come Tuesday we have to have a video out at least, and then it would be Wednesday there'd be another video on this channel, and then Thursday another video on the other channel, and then Saturday. And meanwhile, you guys already know I got to catch up on business too. So that's probably what's going to happen this week on the channel. And then we should be kind of well stocked for like fish room tour videos and talks. And then we'll work on unboxings and review videos. Jimmy was talking about doing a video once a week on the Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op channel that's only him, where it's not even me. So I think that could be a good thing.
Yep, it'll probably be like the old Sashimi Whiskey videos of just me vlogging about the fish tanks and setting up new fish tanks or whatnot.
Yeah.
Dean's in the house.
Dean's
fish room.
Dean. Dean, if you're listening, I hope you're listening and uploading your Peru footage so we can finish that video. We've got a rough draft up. We just want to see the rest of the footage so we can put more video into it.
Yeah, so it's pretty much done. Just need more videos.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Will lead weights damage Lodia long term physically? Yes. For the most part. They'll restrict the stems at the bottom. They tend to rot out. So long term it rots off from there. So long term problematic. Short term probably gets to see some new growth, gets it adapted to your aquarium, and probably a good thing. But long term will kind of suffocate the plant at the bottom.
Do you really need a quarantine tank?
Yes.
That was a fast answer.
It's kind of like saying, do you really need to wear a seatbelt? Yes. You know, does everyone do it? No, but you know, it's just a snap answer of yes. You put your seatbelt on because it's so little effort to reward, and quarantine tank is the same way. It's so little effort compared to the reward you get in this hobby that yes, not everyone's going to do it. But like I set up my entire fish keeping presence is that all of my tanks are quarantine tanks. Pretty much only one species of fish goes into those tanks, or I put all the fish I want. I go buy them all. I put them all in the same tank, and I treat them, and then I don't put any more fish in. And if I buy more fish, I set up another aquarium. So I basically run hundreds of quarantine tanks all at the same time based on the way that I keep fish. But most people, if you only have one or two aquariums, I would say having one main tank and one quarantine tank would be very beneficial.
Dean asked, do you want the videos or the pictures?
Both. If you could just, we set you up that drive, all you got to kind of do is grab everything you have and drag it onto that drive, and it'll take probably all day to upload. And then Jimmy can sort through it and get what we need. Yep. You know, because if you have the right picture for the right part of what you're talking about, that'll be great. If you got the right video part, we're just looking to enhance it because it's a lot of us in your fish room unboxing, and then we want to bring in all those little stories and different elements into the thing. Mm-hmm. I think so.
Michael Trevino with the $5 super chat. So glad you guys are back. I hope it all went well. And Dorkula asked, oh, thank you, by the way, Michael. Dorkula asked, Corey, what was some cool fish you saw while on your excursion?
Cool fish. What were cool fish? I saw some live bears I'd never seen before at Rusty Wessel's house.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty cool. Couldn't get any of them, but that was really cool. What else did I see?
We saw cool builds and stuff like that. Like fish room builds.
Yeah,
the
fish rooms
store
are super
builds.
inspiring. Oh, yeah, I forgot about. Yeah. I'm going to steal that idea and show you guys that idea. Hopefully when we build out our fish room over here, and you guys will think I'm a genius. Meanwhile, you can all remember, like, hey, he saw that at another fish store. And I'll be like, yeah, I did. Totally did. My bad.
Are all tannins the same, like from woods and leaves and etc.?
I don't know enough to know that answer. I would say no. I have a feeling that, like an Indian almond leaf, the oils that would come off that leaf are probably slightly different than other types of leaves. I think in our aquarium purpose, for the most part, all of them that are aquarium safe will be fine and do the same purpose. But I would wager a lot of money that there are nuances between those that we haven't well explored in the hobby. So that's just, without actually testing. I do believe that would be true, though, if I was to test it some way.
Daryl Dimer, surprise, surprise, with another $20 super chat. Any updates on your aquatic experience plans?
The update is I ordered some stickers today before we went online, and it's definitely on the forefront of my mind. I had some patches that I want to have made, but the person that makes them is lagging behind, and so I don't know if that's going to happen. So I'm trying to get merchandise I want to give away in line, and had a couple people emailing me about, like, let's set up an event and all that type of stuff, and not sure yet. I got to talk to different people, because, like, I don't want to, like, we have a booth at the Aquatic Experience, and we don't really want to take people away from that booth. We don't want to make the organizers angry. Like, why'd you take everyone from the event at 3 o'clock to go eat lunch? You know, so we want to do it probably after hours if we're going to do it.
No,
and then we still have the problem, and I keep running into this, of everyone's flying in, and then someone goes, yeah, we should go do it over here. And I'm like, yeah, that's 11 miles away. How do we get, let's say, 60 people 11 miles away when there's only 2 cars? Like, that's going to be a lot of, like, okay, well, I can drive 3, and then I can drive back, and then I can drive 3, and then I can drive back. And round trip with that traffic, it's probably 20, 30 minutes each trip, and pretty soon it's 5 hours to move 60 people there. And then you got to start moving them back to their hotel. So, got to do some brain thinking and some looking into it, and, figure it out. That's really what it comes down to. So, really, I need to call the hotel that we're staying at and be like, hey,
let's borrow some buses, please.
do you got a banquet room?
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that idea is not going to work. So.
Is there going to be a Rusty Wessel room tour?
There will be, yeah. Yeah.
What was your favorite meal of the trip?
Ooh, favorite meal on the trip. There was something that was really good. Oh, one of my favorite meals actually was the, what was it, beer cheddar soup I had.
Okay, most of the meals in Minnesota, pretty much. That day was just...
Yeah. Oh, no.
Ooh.
the taco, that taco I had at, what was it, Los Bonitos Tacos and Burritos? Lupita.
Yeah.
Tacos and burritos was really good. Really good.
So shout out to Kang Lee
Yeah,
and
he picked it out
Twin
right.
City Guppies for, help us touring Minnesota while we were there. So that was awesome. We got to visit 2 fish stores, which we will put out.
Probably at least in the vlog. We did so much, it's hard to remember what all we've done, and not everything will make it to like a dedicated video because we were on the go. So you'd be like, I want to see that fish store. Like, well, we were only there for 20 minutes, and like to film a fish store takes hours. So you'll get bits and pieces and things like that. And we went and saw Twin City Guppies, like, fish room. We saw King Lee's fish room, Rusty Wessel, Gary Lang, Lucas Bretz, Greg Sage, Jerry Host,
Jost.
Jost, is it?
Yeah,
I keep saying host.
Jost.
I don't know why. Jerry Jost. And then did we do anything while we were in Wisconsin? I think it was all just the event while we were there.
It was just all the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, hit that like button if you want me to keep the beard. If we hit 40,000 likes by tomorrow, I won't shave.
40,000?
That's right. I was going to say ever. The last time I did something like that, I had to eat old fish food, and it was like a year later. So I don't want it to be like magically KG Cichlids logs in once a day, creates a new account, hits that like button, and then like 5 years later, he's like, ha, you're a man of your word. You're never shaving again. So gotta put the timeline on there.
Do you see any questions?
How was Quality Aquatics? Was that? No, that's not.
That was
Untamed
the
Waters.
monster fish room mostly.
Oh,
It was.
I enjoyed that one.
I love that fish store.
yeah, that one was fun.
Yeah,
They had a lot of guppies that I liked.
yeah. Which I want. Can you get those on your wholesale? The white ones that I really loved.
I might be able
I don't
to get
care
them,
if
but
there's
they
no
don't sell
females.
females.
I just want the males.
I'm gonna get some guppies from Twin City Guppies though.
Yeah,
but,
he asked me if what address you wanted to send it to. So
let's have them send them to the store, just because if we're not home, the employees can put them away for us.
okay,
So,
there you go. If you're listening.
ooh, Thai food from your family restaurant at Gary Lang's. That would have been weird to ask us, but next time we're in St. Louis, hopefully we'll remember to get free. Well, I'm assuming it's free. That'd be hilarious. He shows up and he's like, "Yeah, that'll be $72.95." Like, what? But we'll hit up your Thai restaurant, your family's Thai restaurant.
It's funny traveling with Corey, going to fish stores and stuff like that, because he gets bombarded by his fans, and it's super awesome. But it's like it's fun. It's a lot of fun to see.
I think it's funny for people that are with me to watch it, and they're like, "Oh my god, look at that guy!"
Yeah.
You know, because it goes from like, "Ooh, what's this fish in here?" to I don't get to look at fish anymore. I just have to, not have to, but I just end up talking because it's fun. But
I got a little bit of taste of it because I would go up to the one of the kids. I was like, "Hi, my name's Jim." He's like, "Oh, I know who you are." So that was fun.
It's a fun time though, and so it's super bizarre when you're in the middle of the Midwest or something, and you're like in a store and someone recognizes you, and you're just like, "Oh yeah, hey, what's up?" Like I was just trying to see how they build this rack right here. So, the dogs have ordered that I keep a beard. That I am ruled by my dogs, so that is a pretty ruling authority, no doubt. Have I bred any Coreys, and what do you feed the fry? Microworms would be a good one. I have bred Coreys before. Microworms is a good one. Live baby brine shrimp. I can't, I haven't been active in the fish room, and I know you guys are telling me. I get it. Been busy. But when I get active in the fish room again, we'll be hatching out live brine every day. In my opinion, that is the key to most fish. Whether you want them to look amazing, you want them to raise babies up, all that kind of stuff. Live brine shrimp, and I've got several videos on the channel, just not lately, within the last year, but live baby brine is just straight up magical. It's nothing short of that. And that's why I always say live foods are amazing, then frozen foods, then dry foods.
Yeah, because every pro fish room I've been in so far has a live baby brine shrimp set.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a doubt. Yeah. It's way too good, and it's I would almost go so far to say, if you are serious about doing fish and you're not hatching out live baby brine shrimp, you're not serious about fish. That it's almost like one of those could not possibly be said in the same sentence things. Like, oh, I do insane amounts of shrimp, but I never do brine shrimp. That being said, there is one person that is breaking that rule. L.R. Bretz.
Lucas.
But he mostly does shrimp.
Yeah.
Mostly. And Lucas Bretz breaks about every rule there is to break.
Yeah.
If I was to make a rule that he couldn't, if I somehow passed a law that said it's illegal to hatch brine shrimp, he would be the #1 brine shrimp hatcher. Just because he loves to fight back on authority, I feel like.
That guy just genuinely is a fish keeper and loves fish. Yeah, deep down in his heart. So, what can I put with the banded Leporinus?
I would do things like rainbows, silver dollars, other fast stuff. They're just a torpedo that likes to ram stuff. So I wouldn't put them with like big cichlids or anything, because they're going to get rammed eventually. Yeah.
Does Gary Lang work with Oddball Aquatics to circulate his rainbow fish?
No. Nope. Gary, you'll see it more in the video, but he's working with farms that supply like Seagrass farms and things like that. So most people think like Seagrass breeds all their own stuff. Most of the time it's like satellite farms that specialize in things that supply somewhere like Seagrass Farms, and Seagrass Farms supplies a lot of the stores in the United States. So it's his goal to breed up some numbers, then get them to a farm that specializes in like raising rainbows, and then we'll supply someone like Seagrass, and then eventually it hits our hands, and then it's up to us to keep those going. So,
how did Jimmy and Corey meet? # Let's get personal.
How did we meet? So one, let us know if you want to see this, but I saw this super cringy video. We were on the road, and Jimmy was like, "You haven't even watched any of my videos," and I was like, "I've seen them."
Yeah, we were like, "I haven't watched any of your videos. You haven't watched my videos."
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
And he's got this video where he's watching me and Dorkula on a live stream, and then he's like eating tacos, and he's filming himself doing this. And I was like, man, you need to put that out on the channel just so people can see like where you started, where you ended up. You need to do like so here's what I want you to do. I want you to show that clip, but then I want you to do a clip of you watching you do that, and then you're eating tacos. Or what if I'm eating the tacos? I'm eating tacos, watching you watch yourself eat tacos. It's like one of those like break the fourth wall things. But we actually met because I was scouting him, basically. He came onto my radar, I think with his Lucas Bretz fish room tour. I think that's so how it went down. I think, if I remember correctly, is that I think Bob or me, I think I saw it and I talked to Steenfod Aquatics and he was like, "Yeah, dude, we should go to Lucas Brett's fish room in Chicago." So that was like a year ago, right? Less than a year ago, but I was like, "All right, yeah." And then like somehow I got linked to the video that Jimmy did about it. And like Lucas's room is cool. I get that. But I was in love with the editing. Everyone else was like, "Oh man, this guy's got a rad fish room." And because I was doing so much editing and stuff at the time, I was like, you know, that's second. Look at all of this editing work that's been done to this video. And I was like, man, I gotta get a hold of this guy. Like
He lured me in with candy.
I did. It was I was actually either looking for lessons or to hire him, because at that point I couldn't really afford to hire someone. So kind of looking for lessons, like what could I do here? Like maybe he'll be dumb enough to work for fish stuff, you know? So and then he
should have said that first.
I know. He was doing live streams and stuff, so I was hanging out and somehow I was talking about candy and I was like, "Hey, I got all this candy from Japan that we brought back." And I was like, "Send me an email and you know, I'll send some to you." Meanwhile, I never did. And I didn't want to come out and just be like, "Hey guy, you want to edit for some money?" You know, because I couldn't really afford him. But eventually, I was talking with like Glass Boxes, and he kind of built the link between us, and worked out from there. Obviously, because at this point, full-time salary, travels with me, we do all that thing. But if anything, that should show how crazy stuff changes. Like, and I know a lot of you guys are like, "Hey, you're not the same." And we're totally not the same anymore because we have 3 times as many fans. We're 5 times as busy as we were, like sales-wise, all that kind of stuff. And it's never going to be the same. It's always going to change. And there's going to be people that are going to be like, "Yep, I don't like it anymore. I get it. Sorry," you know. And then there's going to be people like, "Oh, I like where it's at now." And then in a year, you're going to be like, "Hey, I don't like where it's at now." And it's always going to be evolving because I expect like in 2 years, I want to tour like all of Europe. I want to go see their fish stores. I want to see, you know, their fish rooms. I want to get out. I want to see people. I want to do things. And meanwhile, and the latest thing is, you know, people are saying we're not relatable to you anymore because we have this giant aquarium. And we're going to put in like 125s and stuff like that. Yeah, and the only thing I can say to that is like, if you were in the same situation, you'd probably do the same thing. You're going, "Hey, look at all these cool things I can do now. That'll be fun." And, you know, I guarantee that anyone who says we've changed, if we were to sit down in the same room and you actually saw what's going on and I could explain it to you one-on-one, you'd be like, "Oh, I totally get that, man." But realize you guys only see a glimpse of what's going on in our lives here on YouTube, you know, so you don't really see the full picture. Like, if you were to spend 3 weeks with me and you go, "Okay, so yeah, we go to the store and you've got 100 plus tanks of all 20 gallons. And then you've got, you know, the warehouse side, and then you've got these tanks at home." You go, "Yeah, you don't really need to be setting up any more 5 to 10 to 20 gallon tanks. You have hundreds of them already." And so then it makes sense why are you setting up bigger tanks? Because they're the only ones I don't have yet, you know, at my disposal to play with. And so,
you're literally watching, like YouTube is watching you grow up as a fish keeper, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, because if it's back before I had YouTube and a store and all that, I had kept big fish and big aquariums, and so I'm doing what I enjoy. And like, we're gonna set up a bunch of stuff to breed, and a bunch of people. Here's what happens: is we do one thing, and people go, "Oh, I hate that," and the other people say, "I love it," and then we start doing a different thing, and then different people say, "I love that," and "I hate that." And whatever we do, it's never gonna be everyone's favorite. So when I get into a breeding kick, where I'm gonna breed fish for a year straight, and I'm gonna have a ton of fun doing that, half you guys are going to go, "Well, I don't want to breed fish. This is boring." And it's like, yeah, sorry. The alternative is I make videos I don't enjoy. And then that's just not really good for anyone, you know? So it's a catch-22. And for me, my hobby has to keep moving, and I won't say evolving. It doesn't necessarily have to evolve. But if I'm doing all live bears today, maybe in 2 years I'm doing all African cichlids, and then 2 years after that I'm doing all goldfish. And that's what keeps it new and interesting for me. I don't think anyone will enjoy it if Corey just only keeps this fish, and 10 years later I'm still keeping that. And when I tune into YouTube, it's just like, "Yep, still got the thing that I don't like," you know. So keeping it fresh and interesting is the way to do it. And the only thing I can say to anyone that is criticizing is start making 5 to 8 videos a week for YouTube, build up a presence of at least 10 to 20,000 people, and then have them critique everything you do every day. And then tell me, like, how much fun are you having with that? You know, so it came to a point where I can either A, do things to please the internet, or I can do things to please me, and I've decided to do things to please me. And if that doesn't please the internet, well, that's fine. And long term, if, let's say, the aquarium co-op thing just dies out, it's no problem. I got plenty of other industries I can get into in business and be financially stable. It is my hope, though, that we'll have enough fun and I'll provide enough information and we'll do enough right things that it doesn't die down. Because there are things that we've done that other people aren't doing, in my opinion. Like, we've got our Facebook group, which is a safe space. Our YouTube is heavily moderated, so it's a safe space, that type of thing. And all those take resources and time, you know. And that's, I haven't been complaining about it nearly as much lately because I have so many more employees helping me do it. But, you know, more than hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages a day now. As we grow, more messages happen, and I still try to answer as many as I can of them, and so that's always going to take its toll as well. So, is there a sale for the Fluval 2.0 anytime soon? Not that I know of. I wouldn't say never, but if I had to make an actual guess, this is just me guessing, would be like Thanksgiving. My guess would be they'd be on sale for Thanksgiving, but
Black Friday.
Yeah, Black Friday. But there could, you know, if I need to put them on sale or something, I will. But, you know, I'm trying not to make it so that you guys only wait to buy on sale, because when you guys buy on sale, we make the least amount of money. And like on lights, like the last sale, we were basically, so I worked it out because my employees were like, man, we sold like $10,000 worth of lights today. And I'm like, yes, but let's do the math, right? And then they realized, like, oh, we made $3 per light. So it's like at the end of that, you're going, oh, we made like $200, you know, and it's like $10,000, $200, you know, after we pay the employees, we take the discounts, we pay for the shipping and all that stuff. It was crazy low margin, but we had been sent too many lights, and the goal was to put a bunch of lights out in the hobby, not make a bunch of money. So yeah, that's where we're always getting compared to, like, well, you know, why isn't it as good as that one sale? Like, well, circumstances are different, and on average, if we have to turn a profit or we just go out of business. So
K Schmo just called your store and an employee said on Cyber Monday, so that was a nice guess.
Yeah, that
Black
makes
Friday,
sense.
Yeah.
When is Cyber Monday? Is that the
Right after Black Friday.
Right after, okay.
Yeah.
I would guess, and I'm not committing to this yet, but I would guess we're going to do some 8-hour live streams.
Oh my god, my body is not ready.
We'll probably do it on Christmas and
dear.
And on Thanksgiving, because the day after Thanksgiving I actually fly out somewhere. So
maybe I can get Dorkilo to be in this chair for like 4 hours.
Oh, it'll be way easier with 2 people, because I can be like, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom, and then Jimmy can take over. Like, that's way easier. It'll be easy mode compared to what I was doing before.
Compared to driving 5,000 miles, right?
That's weak. Weak. So
Corey is so bad with holidays.
I hate holidays.
Good.
It's a day I can't work, and I like to work. So, yeah.
All right, so we are 8 minutes over.
Oh,
I don't know if
snap.
you want to go on or you want to. What do you want to do?
I got a lot of stuff I gotta get done.
Okay.
I kind of want to cut it off here and then do like a surprise live stream tonight or this week or something, like on our other channel or
On main
Facebook
channel?
or something
Okay.
like that. I know I got. See, here's the problem. Like, this is a classic scenario Corey problem. I actually do want to sit here and talk longer. Like, literally want to do that. But if I do that, in my brain right now, I'm still thinking, must find the swag to give away at Chicago, must call about the banquet room. And an hour from now, I'm going to be like exhausted and be like, whew, that was fun, right, Jimmy? And then I'm going to go, oh, yeah, look at all these emails. Oh, I've got things from customers. Oh, my employees need this, and this answered. And then it'll be dinner time. And then pretty soon it'll be next Saturday. And I'm like, dang it, I didn't get anywhere closer to doing what I needed to do. And so, that's the best thing I could explain right there is every day that goes on, the aquarium empire grows. Not necessarily monetarily, but the stuff we're committed to. Like, I committed to funding basically everything that a local school teacher needed for a project through the GSAS last night. And then we've got all this stuff going on. And so I'm constantly just like putting our hands into more stuff. And the only thing that can happen basically is I'm going to start dropping the ball a lot. And, so I got to just stay on it. So that's where time becomes more limited, And so, yeah, I do want to
have to work. I have to work, so.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Exactly. If I do this, Jimmy can't be editing. And I know there's just a deadline for him. Like, come Tuesday, we have to have a video out for you guys because we never miss our deadlines, right? And every hour that we go on talking is one less hour that he gets to start on that. And so I'm just putting the crunch on him more and more and more and more and more. And, but, hopefully he'll, like, edit for a bunch and then go, can't edit anymore. I'll be like, well, let's go
come to the wall.
Let's go do something. Let's go grab dinner. And that's when we can get some stuff done. So we will call it now, even though I do want to hang out. And
can you buy those hats online real quick?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
They are online now, can be bought. Shipping is $6.50 if you only buy one of these. Otherwise, you can buy other stuff as well. If you spend $100 on the website, shipping is free. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And so get one of these hats or a shirt or something like that if you're going to be at an event I'm at. That makes it super easy because I can spot you from across the room. And
I've noticed that
I need
too.
to go talk to that person.
Yeah, I'm going to go pick that person.
Or a shirt on. Like, clearly they know who I am. I should go meet them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out today. And it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad to be back and working again. So, stay tuned to this channel or the other channel. We might go live anytime today. So
who knows?
Until then, sayonara, people.
Keep being weird, as Corvus would say.